Okay, in connection to that, please. In the north, we're talking northern Nigeria. I have realized that the number of cooperative banks that we have across northern Nigeria is very little compared to what is obtainable in the southern part of the country. And access to finance goes a long way in reducing the poverty rate. That is why if you look at all the governmental indices available, there's more poverty in northern Nigeria. But the reason for all this is that our rich men, our businessmen don't really invest in the banking sector. If you look at most of the banks, both the conventional banks, the microfinance banks, you realize that some microfinance banks that are even in the northern part of the country are not even owned by money. So I think our people really need to invest. We really need to have more microfinance banks. I'm emphasizing on microfinance banks because if you go down to the grassroots, you realize if you ask a lady selling Akara, she collects the groundnut oil usually on debt. She collects the firewood on debt. If you ask her how much capital do you need, she will tell you 5,000 naira. And if you give her that 5,000, in most cases I have realized that if you go to a village, if she comes to greet you and you usually give her 500 naira, 1,000 naira, if you ask her, look, what kind of business do you want to, how much do you need for capital? If you give her 5,000 naira and you give a man 5,000 naira, by the time you come back after 2 months, she's doing her business and assisting the man, and the man has spent his own. So this financial inclusion of people, we need more microfinance banks and access to finance across northern Nigeria. It will go a long way in reducing the poverty rate, and it will empower the people to really participate in the democratic process and not to be swayed by a bar of soap, a small wrapper. You get what I mean? By the time we empower them economically, by the time we have access to finance, they will be able to really participate. And lastly, as youths, we should encourage each other in terms of the global trend called crowdfunding. It happened during Babu Buhari's election campaign, just like the distinguished senator said, if the youths come together, at times, these things we are talking about, they will not give it to us on a platter of gold. We have to take on a platter of gold. We have to take it. We have to take it. And if we come together, there's strength in number. But if you utilize the strength, we keep talking about, okay, population, we're having the highest population, we're having that, but the level of poverty is more. Which means something is wrong, we are not really utilizing our number. If we come together, if there are 100 youths, I am having a salary of, let's say, 200 naira, and we have a kind of group. By the time we say we are sponsoring Radia to contest, she doesn't have economic power, you contribute, target 50,000, you target 50,000, we'll be able to utilize the number, and put resources together. Through crowdfunding, we can do a lot. Even if it means giving 5 naira, 10 naira, by the time you look at the number of people, if we can put resources together, we can really do a lot. So I feel by the time we have more access to finance, we'll be able to really change the narrative in northern Nigeria and get our people economically empowered, and by so doing, they will be keeping better, and they will even be more informed. Because most of the time, if you go to the grassroots talking about policies, talking about, people will just be looking at you because that is a list among the factors in their consideration. That's the reality. I submit. Thank you.
Okay, so lastly, before we run out, please.
I want to chip in a little, especially on that access to funding. I beg to differ that I don't think it is a lack of access to funding. Trust me, the funding is available. I'll give you an example. There was agricultural funding provided to farmers in Bauchi State, but because it was grants, soft grants, the farmers did not use the funds as it should be, and it was not returned until the central bank insisted that those funds needed to be returned. The people started running helter-skelter to look for ways to pay back those funds. I have read reports of instances across the country here where funding from UWIN has been used for ventures other than what it was provided for. So I don't think it is the access to funding. I'll bring it back to the issue of perception again. Now, I happened to do some communication work for a project in Kebbi and Sokoto State, and it looked at how households could develop an agriculture-based livelihood system and how that could thrive. Now, Atiku ran research recently where he provided the same amount of funding to men and women within his locale. He realized that the women used the funds judiciously, but the men were buying cars, bicycles, they were marrying second wives, and so there's this patriarchal perception, especially in the north, across the north, where I am the man, the woman is second to me. And so there's that entitlement mentality across the north. I have seen conditional cash programs that have thrived with women than with men. Where micro societies, women have taken this money, 5,000, 10,000, but there's a condition to it. We're giving you this money, you'd use it. If you achieve this, then we'll give you more, right? And women have tried more than with men. I think if we begin to take a different approach, to say, let's bring women to the table. Yeah, as much as we want to bring the youth, let's bring women to the table. It shouldn't be about what Islam says or what Christianity says. They're humans like us, right? I believe that every northerner has immense respect for their mothers. If we have that level of respect for our mothers, then we should see them as equal humans first, and then bring them to the table and say, what can you do? There are lots of households across Nigeria that are being sustained silently by women. Silently by women. If we begin to change that perception and see them as equal citizens that can promote development, then a lot of things will change. So we begin to trust them, we begin to trust them to make decisions. We begin to trust their intuition as well. Then a lot of things will change. Then the terrible maternal mortality rates will change, the terrible literacy levels will change, and a lot of things. That perception is to change.
Thank you for your submission. I think I agree with you totally. Part of the problem, like you said, is we don't work with data in Nigeria, unfortunately. And like I mentioned earlier when I was talking, gender parity is still a big issue in my opinion, especially in northern Nigeria because we're largely conservative. And just like you mentioned, it's high time because we said research shows us that 51% of our population, especially in northern Nigeria, are women. So of course, for economic development, we need to actually bring women to the table. So thank you for that solution. So to round up, finally, let's come to our very passionate active citizen. In our conversations earlier this year, we spoke about Almajiri education, which Mohammed is very passionate about. He champions Almajiri education and taking them on the streets, which is a very important issue in northern Nigeria. Interestingly, while we were preparing for this forum, I came across the education policy. And something I had discussed with him, I realized was already in the education policy, which is the merging of the Quranic education with the universal basic education. And so I would like you to comment on that. What we were actually thinking of doing is actually already in the policy. So how do you think we can go to implementation? Because it's already in the policy, so we don't need to actually have it formulated. What do you think the problem is? Why is it not implemented?
All right, thank you very much for here. And I tried our best to join the panel. So I will do my best. Let me also comment on the two topics you were speaking earlier, on the equality and then on the support. Yes, okay, sorry. The youth policy is actually under review, because it's actually under review. And as a matter of fact, I hosted a youth dialogue in my state for you to contribute into it. So it's actually under review. And then on the issue of the support by the government and platform for entrepreneurs, there's an SMS clinic where government bring all agencies of government that has to do with, that has business concern with, that has issues to do with entrepreneurs under a roof where entrepreneurs can actually approach them to get support and help. Now, coming to the question on the Almajiri issue, let me take it up from the survey by the National Bureau of Statistics on the literacy level of the country. And they did a survey in 2010 where they targeted about 84% of the population for their survey. And out of that population, they said about 87 of them attended formal education, and then about if you go outside the country, we have a plan where we will really engage on that. So I think integrating it to the Western, to the normal, is going to be possible, but we have to address the issue of funding.
On the Almajiri issue, it's very important. In Nigeria, we have passed the Child Rights Act. You know, the problem with the federal system is that even if the national parliament passes a law, at times it will not be effective in some instances unless the states also get to pass the same law. Among the 36 states in the country, I think in the north, Habiba have been doing a research on that. I think among the 19 northern states, I don't think two have passed the Child Rights Act. The reality on this Almajiri issue is that just 2 weeks ago, last week, before Ramadan started, Jama'atul Nasr Islam had a meeting. I saw in their community, they condemned it and they said they are alarmed as to the number of children roaming the streets. We are sitting on a time bomb in northern Nigeria. It's not enough to just say the rhetorics that we are alarmed. We have to stand up, and I think the problem lies in the states. The state governments have to come, the 19 northern state governors have to come, the House of Assembly have to pass a legislation banning this Almajiri system. No, that is the reality. We cannot continue to pay lip service to it, to continue using euphemism. That is using mild words to express the contrary. The time bomb is there and is ticking. Parents are abdicating their responsibility. You will see a father who will give birth to his child in Kebbi State, he will send that child to Kaduna State. And there's the same Quranic school in Kebbi. The reality is that during the native authority days, we hear our grandparents and parents telling us about the fact that the district head or village head will even come and arrest your father for not sending you to school. It's more like a crime in those days. At times, there are parents that have even gone to prison because they have refused to give their child to go to school. So the reality is that we have to call a spade a spade. There has to be legislation, but it's not just for the federal government. The federal government, the National Assembly has passed the Child Rights Act. The former president, was it President Obasanjo? Yes, I think he has assented to it. He cannot go down to compel the State House of Assembly to pass it. The same State House of Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, were the ones who said no, they didn't want autonomy. Let us remember that. The National Assembly, the Constitutional Review Panel met, the committee met, and it was agreed, it was passed that the State House of Assembly should have their financial autonomy. They said no, they didn't want autonomy. So these are the same State House of Assembly, they are the leaders that we're having at that level. So the challenge is now before us. We have to go back to the drawing board, we have to participate in the political process, get more informed people that have this view in the State House of Assembly, because that is where this Almajiri issue can be given the blow that will finally take it to its grave. I submit.
Comment on that. Well, I think I am proud to make it known here that my governor has declared a state of emergency on education and on health. And I'm proud again to inform this audience that the Secretary to the State Governor of Adamawa State is coming out with a Quranic template,